Welcome to our interactive event, Discover the 12 Blessings, Celebrate the True Birth Date of the Master Jesus. Thank you for investing your precious time and energy to celebrate and honor the life of a truly great spiritual master who has directly and positively helped all people on this planet, regardless of their religion or belief. The Master Jesus came to show us what is possible for each and every one of us when a person fully realizes their divine nature on this planet. And the more we study how he lived and apply his wisdom to our lives, the more we will move towards greater freedom, purpose, inner peace, and realizing the all-knowing, all-loving, all-powerful, divine essence within us all. My name is Ayub Malik. I'm a minister in the Aetherius churches. I'm a spiritual teacher and a spiritual healer. I also founded an active online community called Awakening Through King Yoga, which has now got more than 1,000 group members and runs regular, empowering spiritual activities, all for free. My intention by the end of this 1 hour event is that you will experience a deeper, heartfelt connection with the Master Jesus, feeling more peaceful within yourselves and more spiritually connected to the all-knowing, all-loving divine essence within you. What are we going to cover during this session? 1, I will share a little bit about the mission of the Master Jesus, and the wisdom that I will be sharing comes from or through the Master of Yoga, Dr. George King, who had many direct contacts with the Master Jesus. Dr. King knew Master Jesus better than most people. Now, this is something that will help us connect with the Master Jesus, listening to his wisdom. Then I will share a beautiful, empowering, channeled, audio recorded wisdom from the Master Jesus as channeled through the expert mediumship of Master of Yoga, Dr. George King. This will be another big step towards bringing us closer to this great avatar of divine love. After a brief introduction to the 12 blessings, if it's required, and which are the extended teachings of the Master Jesus, we will do a guided group practice of the 12 blessings, where we will attract 12 different high-frequency spiritual energies to us to greatly enhance our spiritual development and help heal our world. Yet another very big step towards connecting us to the Master Jesus. Then I will guide you through a meditative process to approach the Master Jesus and receive his love and blessing after we send him our love and blessings. After which, I will share a highly inspiring story given by Master of Yoga, Dr. George King, about a direct contact he had with the Master Jesus. After some closing announcements, I will open us up for discussion, sharing of experiences, and answering any questions you may have. So let us contemplate a mystery that stretches far beyond the pages of history. The mission of the Master we call Jesus. Human history has always been turbulent. Civilizations rise like great waves and fall again into the sea of time. Humanity climbs towards wisdom, then slips back into ignorance. And yet, through every rise and every fall, humanity has never been abandoned. Behind the visible world, beyond the noise of human events, there has always been guidance, a great intelligence, aware of both the weakness and the potential of humanity. And whenever humanity approaches a moment of crises, divine messengers appear to illuminate the path forward. Lord Buddha and Sri Krishna were 2 such luminous figures. Another is the one we know as Jesus. 2,000 years or so ago, on March the 15th, in a troubled corner of the world, a humble teacher came to our world. He came to walk among ordinary people, speaking of love, healing the suffering, and quietly revealing the power of the divine within humanity. His coming was no accident. His life and mission were part of a design prepared long before his birth. He came as an answer to the desperate pleas and prayers for help and guidance from suffering humanity in those days. He spoke of compassion and service, but he did not teach only with words. He healed the sick, restored hope to the broken, and revealed spiritual powers that lie dormant within humanity. What people call miracles were simply the workings of a spiritual law, laws which humanity has largely forgotten how to cooperate with. Such teachings challenged the established power of the time. When love replaces fear and truth replaces blind tradition, opposition inevitably rises. And so the crucifixion came. But the Master Jesus knew his death was no accident. It was his primary mission to earth. And through his sacrifice, he delayed a global catastrophe that was due in those days. The manifestation of negative karma that would have brought tremendous suffering to humanity and put humanity back many thousands of years of development. He gave humanity another chance to grow and to awaken. Yet his mission did not end with his death. Through the resurrection, he demonstrated a truth known in every great spiritual tradition. Life does not end with the grave. Consciousness continues beyond the body, journeying through realms of greater light and understanding to a very definite future milestone in all of our spiritual development. As Master of Yoga Dr. George King explained, he proved that the greatest initiation on earth is that called ascension. He wasn't the first master to ascend, but he was one of the first to prove it so openly. And so the life of Jesus carries a message far deeper than history. Humanity is not abandoned, has never been abandoned. And the same divine spark that lived within the Master Jesus lives within each and every one of us. For the Master Jesus stated, and I quote, "Raise your eyes away from war and hate, up to God, which is within you all. Then you will know that I am here with you, helping, guiding, loving, healing." End quote. The Master Jesus is not only a figure of history, he is a living spiritual presence in the world today. And when we lift our hearts to the divine within each and every one of us, we may discover something extraordinary, that the Master Jesus has never left us at all. So now we're going to move on to listening to a channeled teaching from the Master Jesus as channeled through Master of Yoga Dr. George King. And I invite you to prepare yourselves by keeping the spine straight, shoulders relaxed, and let us do some deep and even breathing through the nostrils with the mouth closed. Make the breath long and deep and even. At the end of each out breath, pull in your belly button inwards towards the spine to fully empty the lungs, thereby allowing a longer, deeper inhalation. Let us visualize a brilliant white light pouring in with each in-breath, charging you up, filling the whole of your body and mind by the end of each in-breath. And with each out-breath, feel a sense of letting go, of release, of relief, making the out-breath the exact same length as the in-breath. Relax into this practice as we prepare to make a powerful connection with the Master Jesus. Let us imagine the Master Jesus in our presence, and let us be like little children or eager and keen students to listen and absorb all that He has to say as we listen to this empowering and healing wisdom of the Master Jesus, which lasts for about 5 minutes.
Even in the time of your trial, you have not been forgotten, for the love of wondrous God always surrounds you all. In the eyes of man, man is man, yet in the eyes of God, He is Brother God. Know ye this, and the light will shine through you. Live ye, O adorable ones, in this thought, and you will never be in darkness. This wonderful planet has fallen, yet know this, that it will be delivered in its darkest hour. In the darkness will come a light from heaven, which will raise it into the bosom of God. Even the dark ones are near to this infinite heart always, and these will be risen through this light. O adorable children, let your love shine forth before you throughout your earth, so that you might raise those who so badly need this. There is not a problem upon your world that cannot be solved by love itself in its purity. There is not a problem upon your world that cannot be solved by power tempered by love in its purity. There is not a heart upon your world, no matter how fierce it beats, which cannot be softened by love in its purity. There is not a brain upon your world, no matter how clever or stupid it may appear, that cannot be educated in wisdom by love and power in their purity. Know this, live with this, be this, and then will even the very darkness become light to you all.
Beautiful, inspiring words from the great master of love, the Master Jesus. Now, is there anyone here that does not know anything about the 12 blessings? And please do let us know if any of you do not know anything about the 12 blessings, because that will determine where we go from this point. Okay, so Derek says, that's fine. No need to apologize, Derek. It's all good. What are the 12 blessings? They are the extended teachings given by the Master Jesus through the expert mediumship of Master of Yoga, Dr. George King. Next slide, please. It consists of profound insights by the Master Jesus into the nature and significance of each blessing and practical wisdom to help us improve our lives. Next slide, please. Each of the 12 blessings is given to a group of spiritual workers and great cosmic beings. For example, they who work for peace, they who heal, the Mother Earth, the mighty Sun. And if you understand, if you've read the Beatitudes in the New Testament, you'll see a very similar theme there where the Master Jesus talks about blessed are the peacemakers, etc., etc., etc. And so this set of teachings is a natural extension to his teachings given on the Sermon on the Mount, and to include a cosmic dimension, a cosmic concept, which he wasn't able to give 2,000 years ago, but can do now in the light of space knowledge and astronomy and science as well. So next slide, please. So this is a picture of the Master Jesus, who was the who delivered the 12 blessings through the expert mediumship of Master of Yoga, Dr. George King. And while he was receiving these channeled words from the Master Jesus, they were recorded through a microphone and kept for posterity so anyone can listen to them. The first blessing is, blessed are they who work for peace. This is a group of people who are going out of their way to help to bring peace within communities, within conflict zones, and this strange world needs the guiding hands of these ones. According to the Master Jesus, we send power and energy and love to they who work for peace, and they come under a group soul, and then we get an energy back that comes from them, which helps us in our work for peace, in our spiritual development. The second blessing are to the wise ones. Blessed are the wise ones. They walk through a dark and ignorant world, spreading their light. So these are beings who've gone within, contacted the divine essence within them, and come outwards and are sharing the wisdom with other people so they too can contact the divine within them. And so these are very important people. So we send energy to this group of the wise ones. And then we get an energy come back, a different energy come back from the wise ones to help us in our spiritual development. Third blessing is to they who love. They are the people who radiate unconditional love to all people, regardless of their religion, class, creed, gender, so that they may all be healed, uplifted, and risen up to realize the divine power within. Fourth blessing are to the planetary ones. These are great spiritual avatars or masters from other worlds who have volunteered to be born on earth to live, guide, and help humanity in ways that humanity cannot do for itself. The Master Jesus is one such example of a planetary one who came, we believe, in the Aetherius Society teachings from the planet Venus, and to help us, to guide us, to inspire us. And he's not the only one. There are many others as well who are here with us even now as we speak, who are helping us in many different ways. And so we send a blessing to the planetary ones. We get energy come back from them, which helps us in our spiritual development. Fifth blessing is to the thanksgivers. These are the people who know of the existence of the Devic kingdom or the nature spirits who control the weather, who control the climate, who control crop growth, who control the movement of the seas, the mountains, all aspects of nature. And they go out of their way to give their love and their thanks for the great works of these nature spirits or Devic kingdom. And because they acknowledge that without these Devic beings, these nature spirits, we wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be able to have air to breathe or food to eat. So it's important we give thanks to them. And so we give a blessing to those who give thanks to the nature spirits and the devas, and we get an energy come back from them, which helps us in our spiritual development. Sixth blessing is to they who heal. Those who are actively following the shining example of Master Jesus by giving spiritual healing to those who suffer. Spiritual healing is something that can be learned and practiced by anyone, and that's something the Aetherius Society teaches people. And you give a blessing to they who heal, no matter what they call themselves, whether they're faith healers or some other exotic name type of healer, as long as they're laying their hands on people and radiating energy through their hands, then they come under this banner of they who heal. We empower them, we help them, we inspire them, we protect them, and then we also get an energy come back from them, which helps us in our spiritual development. Now we move on to the cosmic dimension, which is the seventh blessing. Blessed is the Mother Earth, this living, breathing, feeling being who has given us such a beautiful home, protection, nourishment, and the opportunity to gain experience that will lead us to spiritual freedom. Blessed is the mighty Sun. A living, breathing, feeling being is the nearest thing to God in our concept of manifestation in our solar system. And it's a divine source of all that we use on earth, including our physical bodies, which are solidified sunlight. So by giving love and power and blessings to the mighty Sun, we get an even more powerful energy come back to us, which helps us in our spiritual development. And the ninth blessings are to the supreme lords of karma. These are the beings who make it possible, as Master Jesus says, for fools like ye and me to gain that experience that will lead us back to the Godhead as conscious gods. So we send a blessing today to the Supreme Lords of Karma. We get an energy come back to us from this source, which helps us in our spiritual development. Next slide, please. The 10th blessing is to the galaxy. The Milky Way galaxy is a living, breathing, feeling being. It lives, it breathes, it thinks, it feels pain, it meditates in the same way as does a logos of a planet. So we send a blessing to the great being known as the galaxy. We get an energy come back to us, an even higher frequency energy, which helps us in our spiritual development. 11th blessing is to the supreme lords of creation. Now we're going even higher than the galaxy. These are the beings who have brought the whole of creation, including you and me, into manifestation. When we send energy to these beings, we get an even higher frequency energy come back to us by the law of karma. So this is the important thing to remember, is that we're activating the law of karma when we work with the 12 blessings practice. The 12th blessing is to the absolute. And as Master Jesus says, and I quote, "It is the I am within man. It is the life within all things. This, O adorable children, is the God. This is the God which cannot ever be limited by man or God-man." And so we send a blessing to the absolute, which is all things. We get an energy power come back to us from the source, the divine creator of all things, the absolute, which helps us in our spiritual development. Okay, so that's just a brief summary of what the 12 blessings are. Now we're going to move on to actually practicing the 12 blessings. So I invite you to close your eyes and let us go within for a few moments. Let us breathe deeply and evenly. Now open your eyes. I invite you to look at this image that you see on the screen right now. Try to tune into what's happening there. You see this brilliant white light flowing down through this young man, and the joy that he feels as this white light is pouring down through him in an unrestricted stream, bringing tremendous healing, strength, empowerment to every part of his body that it touches. Allow this image to make a firm imprint in your mind for a few moments, especially focusing on the brilliant white light. Now let us close our eyes and allow this same bright white light to flow through and around every part of your body, mind, and aura. Smile and enjoy this downpouring of white light. Feel this power coursing through you, around you, bringing you tremendous healing, strength, and empowerment. Now let us raise our hands and arms as I'm showing you on the screen right now. And allow this white light to flow out through the heart chakra and the palms of the hands. So we have chakras in the palms of our hands. So visualize two beams of white light flowing out through the palms of the hands and the heart chakra, which is a few inches in front of the bottom of the breastbone. Just allow this outpouring of light to flow out, to flow down through you, out through the palms of the hands and the heart chakra. If you're familiar with the 12 blessings, you can keep your eyes closed and join in with the headings and the prayers as you remember them. If you have not yet remembered the 12 blessings, headings, and the prayers, that is okay. As there are some new people here, and that's okay. You will see the blessing heading displayed on the screen. I will repeat the blessing heading out loud slowly, so you can repeat the same words out loud with a feeling of love and a deep desire to help the focal point of that blessing. And after some of the blessings, there will be a prayer displayed on the screen, which you can join in with if you wish to. And as we perform the practice of the 12 blessings, know and feel that your unselfish love pouring out as this brilliant white light is being directed with intention to the destination of the blessing and the prayer. So let us really focus on putting as much love and feeling into these words, starting with the first blessing. Blessed are they who work for peace. Allow the power to flow out through the palms of the hands and the heart chakra to they who work for peace. Let's join in with the prayer that comes after the first blessing. Om Almighty Father of all creation, let your light flow through this world now. Let it shine into the hearts and minds of men now, so that all may look within and see the glory of thine everlasting being. O Spirit of spirits, let your love flow through the hearts and minds of man now, so that he may look within and see the great and wondrous glory of his divine heritage. Blessed are the wise ones. Blessed are they who love. Almighty God, who is the creator of all things, we pray that your light may shine through us all, so that we may transmit this unto the world. Blessed are the planetary ones. O divine and everlasting Spirit, we pray that your mighty power may fall upon the world now. We pray that this might enter into all men, so that they may have some small glimpse of themselves, and that this glimpse, even though but dimly seen, might be forever a monument at the crossroads of their inspiration. Blessed are the thanksgivers. O divine Spirit of everlasting life, let the mighty power of thy love flow forth into all the peoples of the world, so that they may be risen up to realize their divinity, so that they may live and act in this light, to let this light flow forth forever through them. Almighty God, there will be no barriers now. Blessed are they who heal. O divine Lord of all wondrous creation, we raise our voices and minds to you now in prayer, knowing, even as we do, that this is answered at this moment. O wondrous God, we ask that the hearts and minds of man might be opened to thy presence, to thy mighty light, so that they may forever glorify thee, so that they may realize that within them beats a spark directly connected to thy wondrous heart. We raise our minds in thankfulness for the fulfillment of our prayer, for this shall come to pass upon this earth. Blessed is the Mother Earth. Almighty Creator, let the wondrous beams of your majestic power flow through all the children upon the earth this very moment, so that they may reach upwards and realize the divinity of their heritage. Blessed is the mighty Sun. Blessed are the supreme lords of karma. Blessed is the great being known as the galaxy. O Divine One, who allows us within thy body, take from our hearts our love into thine own self this very moment. We make this sacrifice, for we dimly realize thy greatness. Almighty Jehovah, Lord of creation, compassionate Master of all life, controller of manifestation, to thee we offer our prayer of everlasting thankfulness for the sacrifice continually made by thy wondrous angel. Preserve this one for its allotted time. Then, O Jehovah, Lord of Lords, transmute it into the center of centers within thy mind. Blessed are the supreme lords of creation. Almighty, wondrous Jehovah, let the light from your heart, let the love from your heart, let the power from your heart fall upon the heads of all these earth children, so that they may be made strong and wise and capable of unselfish love, so that they may be able always to render service to their brothers. Blessed is the Absolute. Almighty Jehovah, let the wondrous power from your everlasting heart fall upon the heads of all those upon the earth now. Let the wondrous love from your mighty heart fall upon the hearts of all those upon the earth now, so that they may all realize their divine heritage and oneness with thee. Let's lower the hands for a few moments and look at this picture of the Master Jesus on the screen. Let us tune in to his vibrations. Let us reflect for a few moments on his tremendous qualities of bravery, love, compassion, selfless service, his wisdom, his healing miracles. Now we're going to join in with the last blessing and the prayer, which is given by Dr. George King, Master of Yoga, directly to the Master Jesus. So let's join in with that now. Blessed is Jesus. So allow the power to flow out from our hearts and minds to this great Master, Jesus. Imagine him in front of you, radiating your love and blessings to this great cosmic avatar, this great spiritual leader among men. Let's join in with the prayer that you see on the screen if you wish to, as we radiate our love to this great Master Jesus. Almighty Brahma, Divine Lord of creation, send forth the power of thy love now, so that we might direct it to this wonderful angel who walked in lonely yet shining simplicity among us. Send it through us unto this one, so that he might use this energy to further his great mission upon this planet and upon any planet he would visit. Send forth thy power, O Brahma. Allow us, O Brahma, to do this one little thing in return for the sacrifice made by this great being. It is done, even as we request, for it is written that man's extremity is thy opportunity. For this we bow our heads in eternal gratefulness to thee and to thy disciple, Jesus, who is forever among us. Lower the hands, relax the shoulders, and let us keep the eyes closed and reflect on the Master Jesus once more. Imagine him in front of you. The Master Aetherius stated about the Master Jesus, and I quote, "This one is still among you. You can still contact him. You may not receive a message from him. Do not look for it, but you will feel his love, his wonderful, warm, all-embracing, all-transmuting, mighty love. This you will have if you but reach towards this light." So let us visualize the Master Jesus in front of us right now, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms and the hands. Have the palms of your hands facing upwards on your knees in reception mode. Visualize this great Master Jesus in front of you in your own way and think of his great qualities. Feel his wonderful, warm, all-embracing, all-transmuting, mighty love emanating towards you through him. Mentally reach out towards his love and light radiation and allow yourself to be enveloped by it, to be healed by it, to be transformed by it. Feel and know that your connection with this great Master of love and light is growing stronger and deeper. Allow this white light to pour through every facet of your being. The love of the Master Jesus is filling you now. Bathe in this. If you find it hard to visualize, just know that he's there. Feel, try to know, try to open yourself up as much as you possibly can to his influence, to His love. Feel yourself being healed, being uplifted, being strengthened like never before. Allow this downpouring of white light to become stronger and brighter, filling every facet of your being. Tune into this mighty radiation of His wonderful, warm, all-embracing, all-transmuting, mighty love. Reach out to this light and allow it to envelop you, to transform you. And bathe in this for another 30 seconds or so. And then detach from this visualization. Have the palms facing downwards on your knees. Now we're going to move on to listening to a beautiful story of contact, direct contact with the Master Jesus, as shared by Master of Yoga, Dr. George King. And I've got some visuals to go with the audio recorded extract, so you can watch this if you wish to. Really try to tune in to this beautiful experience and allow yourselves to be risen and lifted up by this experience.
I went down this road near a famous beauty spot in Devonshire, not far from Coombe Martin, which is in North Devon, overlooking the Bristol Channel. Went down, and duly I saw this gap in the hedge. Now, I'd never been down this road before. And there was the gap in the hedge, and in front of me I could dimly see, in what was left of the moonlight, a winding path. And I followed this winding path, and I eventually came to the top of a hill. I knew the time was midnight because in the distance I could hear a clock chime. You know, we have a lot of big clocks in churches in England, and often these clocks chime the hours. I thought, well, I haven't come here to do nothing, so I assumed yogi posture called siddhasana. Siddhi is a Sanskrit word meaning the powers, asana is a posture, and siddhasana is a posture in which the powers are gained, and it's one of the most important of all postures. I adopted this posture. The weather had deteriorated quite a bit, and the moon was now obscured completely with clouds. There was a heavy wind blowing, 40, 45, 50 miles an hour. It was cold for the time of year, which was supposed to be in the summer, by the way. However, I assumed this posture, and I thought, well, whatever's going to happen, I will have to wait for it. Some people have asked me previously, were you nervous at all? I was, yes. There's no doubt at all in my mind as who I was to meet. Possibly a doubt why, but not who. I'd met this person several times before, but not in the same way. When I saw the two flying saucers in the sky, I didn't take very much notice of them, because I knew that the being who was coming to see me wasn't coming to see me for any personal reason at all. He was going to give me some kind of a job to do, a job which I had to do proficiently and well, without any particular interest in phenomena. And I retained my position of Siddhasana, and then I saw him. One of these saucers had come pretty near the land and had come up the valley, up towards the top of the hill, and had hovered about 1 or 2 feet from the actual ground itself. I read it as I wrote it at the time because maybe I did better justice to it. I knew instantly that the God-man who stood silently looking down upon me was Jesus. It was the self-same Jesus we murdered on earth 2,000 years ago. What is more, this was no psychic vision, for he was completely physical. He was dressed from the shoulders to the ground in a robe which seemed to glow with a bluish-white incandescence. In fact, it was probably so white that it appeared to be tinged with a subtle blue radiance. Fascinated by the radiant beauty, I moved my head slowly upwards and gasped when my eyes alighted on a really magnificent, pointed, star-like jewel upon his chest. The furthermost points of this living crystal must have stretched from his physical heart on the left-hand side to his spiritual heart on the right. His white outer garment covered these 2 points, yet I could plainly see the radiations coming from them through the garment. Such was the intensity of the living fire which came from the great scintillating crystal. His face was, to a simple man like myself, so wonderful as to be beyond my limited descriptive abilities. His living eyes, clear, bright, shone with the blue flame of the great cosmic adept which he is. Such was the light radiated by Jesus that I could plainly see the colour of those eyes. He was, contrary to popular theological belief, clean-shaven, with a firm chin, soft, kind lips, and a well-shaped nose. His skin was tanned a deep golden colour. I did not see a solitary line upon his broad forehead. His long, light brown hair fell to his broad, straight shoulders. In his hand he held what appeared to be a short wand, the stem of which seemed to be less than a foot long. This was terminated by a large crystal in the shape of a 5-pointed star. I seemed to know, without being told, that this was symbolic of the rod of power from Venus. He stood there silent, unmoving for a short time, and then he slowly levelled the wand in my direction. I tried to rise, but could not move a muscle to unlock my legs from the posture which had been adopted. When the wand was almost level with me, some very gentle urge to extend my arms in front of me seemed to float into my mind. Reluctantly I turned away from him and looked out over the dark hills with arms extended, fingers stiff. Out of the corner of my eye I could see the wand come level. Then a great surge of vivid blue flame coursed through my body, along the arms and out of the fingertips. The whole countryside seemed to be swallowed up in a whitish mist as my physical eyes ceased to function. I had to close them. I do not know how long I remained thus, for time as such was non-existent. All feeling as registered by the basic senses had left me. I was not aware of anything save the great streams of energy which ran through my body like huge waves of vivid blue fire. The physical time of this transmuting operation may have been short, a few seconds even. I have no idea. But as abruptly as it started, it stopped. Then I could open my eyes and see him standing there, tall, silent, radiant, with the wand held across his chest. He fixed me with a penetrating but kindly gaze for a moment. Then a wide beam of green light sprang out of the faintly luminous shape hovering a few feet above the ground, about 30 yards away. Jesus moved a few steps to one side into the beam and was gone. A party of about 4 or 5 people 4 miles away saw that phenomena happen. Now, they didn't know where I'd gone. I didn't know where I was going to go until the Martian gave me the second rendezvous that night. But they were watching the top of this hill called Holdstone Down. And when I came in, they could tell immediately something out of the ordinary had happened. Now, my friends, I'm an occultist, and known to some people throughout the world as, well, a moderate one. I've had many experiences. I've visited other planets. I've demonstrated every type of psychic gift, so-called, that I've ever seen demonstrated by anybody else. But this experience did leave its mark on me. So much so that my personal acquaintances could tell that I'd had some experience. And they said to me, "We've been watching the top of Holdstone Down. We don't know why, but we have. And we saw a great, brilliant white light on the top there. And a great green flame, just as though it was a green searchlight beam, came and seemed to swallow the white light up." It's quite interesting. The interesting repercussions of that little escapade was this. America was in a rather awkward position on July the 23rd. On July the 24th and 5th, that position was cleared up instantaneously. And not by generals and politicians either. If you want confirmation of it, don't take my word, go to your newspaper offices and study the question of the Middle East. You had a war on your hands. And a war, by the way, breaking out in one of the most significant psychic centers of this earth. That's what I had to go there for, in order to act as a channel for the power of Jesus, so that peace, or a semblance of it, could be restored again to this earth. Later we heard that this mountain, Holdstone Down, was now to be considered holy. Soon after this, Jesus gave his 12 blessings at Aetherius' house before a picked audience.
So, very inspiring story there, shared by Master of Yoga, Dr. George King. On 20th of June and the 21st of June, we have a very special World Peace pilgrimage taking place on Holdstone Down, where the Master Jesus came, where Dr. King had his contact there. And last year, this is a picture you can see on the screen here, we had over 230 people thereabouts who attended the pilgrimage last summer. So if you're interested in coming along to that, learning more about that, please email Noemi at the email address on there. Feel free to take a screenshot. Holdstone Down is an amazing place. I've been there many times. I know other people who are on this meeting as well have been there as well. And so many people have had amazing healing experiences there, psychic experiences, visions of mystical experiences. I mean, I've seen UFOs on Holdstone Down. I know other people who've had various highly elevated experiences just by going there and praying for world peace. And you too can have a similar experience if you choose to come along. I also invite you to join our online community, Awakening Through King Yoga, through which we do drop-in spiritual practice sessions of breath work, spiritual healing for yourself and others. And you'll find details of that on the web link that you see at the bottom there, aetherius.org/awakening. I will include this in the email with a recording sent to everyone as well. And also, if you don't have a copy of the 12 Blessings, I invite you to get a copy of the 12 Blessings. It is a life-changing book. It will blow your mind. It will really expand your thinking, your consciousness, to really better appreciate the living nature of the universe. And you can get that from our shop at aetherius.org/shop, or you can get it through Amazon or other sites as well. There is an ebook version as well as a physical copy. Okay, so also if you're interested in exploring the 12 Blessings further, we do have a free podcast archive series on the 12 Blessings. You just need to go to aetherius.org and then click on the blog and podcast section. Go to our homepage, click on the blog and podcast, and you'll access all these past recordings where we deep dive into each of the blessings and explore them if you want to understand them better. Highly recommend that. Also, I invite you to check out the Aetherius Cloud, where you'll be able to listen to lectures by Master of Yoga Dr. George King on the 12 blessings, really exploring them on a deeper level. And you'll also get to hear the transmissions given directly by Master Jesus. You'll get to hear the voice of the Master Jesus, the words of the Master Jesus as channeled through Master of Yoga Dr. George King as well. And then you can go to the cloud.aetherius.org webpage to get access to that. And also, I invite you to join our online world healing services, where you can activate your chakras, your higher chakras, by radiating spiritual healing to our suffering world, and practice the 12 blessings together with other people. We have people from more than 80 countries who join in with the practice of the 12 blessings. And we invite you to come and join us as well if you haven't done so already. And you've got the link there to get more information about these online services. And also, if you live near an Aetherius Society Center in Fulham, in Los Angeles, in Detroit, in Barnsley, in Nigeria, in Ghana, we've got centers all over the world, in Auckland, in Australia. If you go to the webpage that you see at the bottom there on the screen, aetherius.org /locations, you'll find the nearest world healing service taking place that you can attend in person if you wish to. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the session. I just want to finish off with some closing words. Let us remember the words of Master Jesus when he said, "I will walk with you." Let us remember what they really mean. They really mean that this great being, Jesus, is just as much alive today as ever he was. Only he is in a different form among us. No longer has he an earth physical body, but something greater. He is able to be in Los Angeles, London, China, Moscow at the same time. He is guiding when we open our hearts to this guidance. He is assisting when we open our minds for this assistance. But he does ask this thing in return. That is, for us to bring into being the set of conditions which will allow him, by the law of karma, to help humanity even more. Thank you for joining us with this session. And we're going to now move on to the next segment, which is going to hear from you guys. If you guys have any questions, you want to share some experiences, how did that practice move you? How did the listening to the transmission extract by the Master Jesus help move you as well? What do you think about that? And so let's open up for a conversation, one and all. If anyone wishes to share, you can either write in the chat space or you can unmute yourselves and speak if you wish. So let's see, we've got quite a few comments already. Derek says, thank you. That was very insightful. Emma says, fabulous account and presentation of the contact on Holdstone Down and the 12 blessings. Thank you for taking the time with this. Thank you for that, Emma. Excited about the pilgrimage, Emma says, I can highly recommend to anyone who is considering for the first time. Wonderful. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's see. Daphne says, thank you, Ayub, so much for this wonderful prayer session to celebrate Jesus' birthday. Chris says, thank you so much, Ayub. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, if anyone else would like to share any thoughts, any feedback, any questions, feel free to do so. Did anyone have any experience when we were doing the 12 blessings or the guided practice of connecting with the Master Jesus? Did you feel anything? Did you find that? I know so many people, there have been quite a few people over the years, since the 1950s, since the Master Jesus made contact with Dr. King, through Dr. King, and gave these extended teachings. So many people have had experiences, visions of the Master Jesus, miraculous healings. A lot of these have been documented in our Aetherius Society literature. And I've been sitting in the last few days when I've been preparing for this event, before going to sleep, sitting in silence and connecting with the Master Jesus and having a conversation with him. And I felt an amazing love and energy to kind of just enfold me and wrap me with love, and such a powerful experience. And so, yes, I would love to, hear from you guys. Anne says, thank you. It was very interesting. Lucia says, thank you. Chloe says, how was Jesus' birthday identified being 15th of March? That's a very good question there, Chloe. Yes, this was something that there was a BBC report article where they talked to various scholars about the description of Jesus' birth and what the situation, what the circumstances, what the environment was like at that time. And in March, it was considered to be like lambing season, and the descriptions of lambs and cattle being in the field, which they wouldn't be in the field in the winter months in December. So this was like an indication that various scholars have said that Jesus was likely born in March at that time. But where the 15th of March comes from, it comes from Dr. George King, direct contacts with the Master Jesus as well. And through his own meditations and his own direct connection with the Master Jesus, he knew that he was born at the start of the Piscean age, around 2,000 years ago. And so that's where we get 15th of March from. And we're also going to be celebrating his birthday through our in-person services in our London centres and online as well tomorrow. Tomorrow is his actual birth date, and we always, every year, we commemorate his birth date by holding special commemorative services, and you're welcome to join us for that. And I'll send you information about that in the email if you want to learn more, dive deeper into the Master Jesus, because he's given so much wisdom, so much teachings through Master of Yoga, Dr. George King, and it's amazing, so much rich teaching and wisdom to help us better understand his mission to earth 2,000 years ago, and help us better understand the New Testament as well, and all the other testaments that were not included as part of the canon as well. So you get a better, clearer idea of his great work, his great teaching. And thank you for sharing. So let's see. Ria says, recently feeling an awakening, compelled to walk middle of the night in nature. I close my eyes, look into the stars, and feel the presence of God and Jesus. And animals such as beavers, birds, and the moon presented themselves during this moment of being present and truly connected. Can you get to this by meditating and prayer? 100%. Yes, thank you for that, Ria Rudy. Thank you for sharing that question. For sure, yeah. I mean, going out into nature, connecting with nature is another wonderful way. Just observing and allowing yourself to be lifted by the vibrations of nature. And while you think about the Master Jesus, that can help you. By meditating and prayer, for sure, definitely that will help you to build a stronger connection. And one of the things that the spiritual masters from the worlds have stated is that for every step that we make towards them, they will take two towards us. So if we go out of our way to send our love and our blessings to the Master Jesus, he will come nearer to us in one way or another. And that's by the law of karma. So this is not something that's lip service. This is actual of an aspect of karmic law, of divine law, that we can connect with these masters, like the Master Jesus. And we've just taken various steps to do that during this session as well. And some of you may have had some experiences, some of you may not have had experiences, and that's okay if you haven't had any experiences through this session. But I do encourage you to keep connecting, keep listening to the wisdom of the Master Jesus, keep practicing the 12 blessings, and the more you go out of your way to connect with Jesus in these different ways, then the more you will build that connection, and eventually you'll gradually start to sensitize yourself more and more. You'll be able to feel the love and the power, and maybe even have a vision, have some connection with the Master Jesus that will help you, heal you in some way, shape, form, or another. So don't beat yourself up, if you haven't had any experience as yet, because it can take a bit of time to really sensitize ourselves to the very subtle return of energy when we send out energy to these great masters like the Master Jesus. So let's see. So Sarah says, I felt lifted and a presence. Wonderful, wonderful. And Jesus said in one of the teachings given through Dr. King that he will come to us, if we come together and practice the 12 blessings, come together in his name, he will come and be there, and he will appear to some people. And sometimes you might just feel it as a presence. Sometimes you might see have an actual vision, and sometimes you may not have any experience. You might just feel generally uplifted or feeling better, and that's okay. So Margaret says, felt great love and hope. Amanda says, I really loved his description of Jesus wearing the living crystal and holding the crystal wand from Venus. That seems like such an amazing detail that inspires so many more questions. It sure does, Amanda. It really does. And actually, that's a very good point because if you want to explore that story of Dr. King's contact with Jesus, I highly recommend this book, Jesus Comes Again. And if you would like a copy of that book, I invite you to email me, and I'm happy to send that out to you guys free of charge. It's a wonderful story. He goes into it's a short booklet. It's about 33 pages or 35 pages long, and but it's quite small. It's not too big, and it's quite quick to read. It's quite thin as well. You can see, so you can easily read it in a day if you wanted, or in an hour, or less even. And so, if you would like a copy of that story of the Master Jesus, this booklet is called Jesus Comes Again by Dr. George King, where he describes in detail that experience of his contact with the Master Jesus on Holdstone Down. And I will put that in the email as well. So Derek says, will Jesus ever return as a physical being to our planet? We believe that he will not return in the way that he did 2,000 years ago. But at the same time, he has stated that he has never left us, that he's always here. And so we can always have a contact with him. We can always connect with him. We can always receive the benefit of his power, his wisdom, his healing. And so, yes, he's never left us. But as far as we know, he will never return in the physical form to this planet. Yes. So that answers your question, hopefully. Patricia says, and if you add the chanting, you will feel spirits around you in a stronger way. Jesus will be one of them, 100%. Yes, there are ways to amplify the connection with these great spiritual masters like the Master Jesus, one of which is mantra chanting, which is the highest known form of prayer, which anyone can engage with. And if you have a copy of this book, Realize Your Inner Potential, which I highly recommend, you will get 5 mantras given to you directly by Dr. George King, who was a master of mantra yoga. And we have regular weekly free online drop-in sessions of mantra chanting, which you can join in with if you wish to. So let's see. So Chloe says, I would love a copy of that book. Amanda says, I sure will. Thank you, Ayub. Okay, and let's see. Derek says, thank you. Margaret says, mantra chanting is this meeting taking place today. Mantra chanting, that takes place usually on Fridays, but we are doing for the next Monday to Friday daily mantra chanting sessions for people who have this book, Realize Your Inner Potential. So if you have this book, you can join those sessions. They're like 20-minute sessions of mantra chanting. And as the mantra chanting will help to bring tremendous spiritual energy into you and help strengthen your sensitivity, improve your sensitivity to the subtler aspects of nature, and help you connect more with the Master Jesus more quickly. And you'll have more spiritual experiences by sensitizing yourself through mantra chanting. There's a great tip there that Patricia gave us. So thank you for that, Patricia. Are there any books, Amanda says, that talk more about Dr. King's mother, Mary? I was very interested in the story of where she met Jesus and gave him the copy of the 12 Blessings book. Yes, I will put that in the email. It's a good question, Amanda. I will put that in the email that I send out with the recording to everyone. Yes, so hopefully that will be tonight. I intend to do that tonight within the next couple of hours. Okay, so would anyone else would like to share? Yes, Amanda says, thank you. Thank you for that. So, if anyone would like to share, open up the microphones and have a conversation, feel free to do so. No pressure. Okay, so Jack, is there anything you'd like to add?
No.
No? Okay. I thought you wanted to say something. Okay, Sudhir says, my first 12 blessing session, it was an amazing experience. So Sudhir, would you like to share that experience with us? Feel free to unmute yourself and speak if you wish. No pressure.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, go for it.
Good evening, all of you. I have not read the 12 blessings fully, but I have probably heard the entire audio on the, cloud.
Mm-hmm.
So now it is making me read it immediately. That was the urge after I attended the session today to read the 12 blessings very religiously.
Mm-hmm.
That's the commitment because uh, it is very powerful session. I was
Mm.
in transit, so I couldn't really focus much because I was coming back from somewhere. So
Yeah.
I couldn't. I'll listen to the recording and try to meditate alongside
Mm.
that.
Mm.
It is very powerful. I could really feel the blessings. Thank you everybody.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, so every time you practice the 12 blessings, you are practicing a practice given by the Master Jesus. You're building a stronger connection with him. And it's such a genius concept that he gave to humanity, this radiating love and power and blessings to 12 different focal points, and you get 12 different energies coming back to us which help us, and then we send some of that energy back out again for the spiritual liberation of humanity, that all of humanity may be awakened to the divine essence within. And then by doing that, we also help improve our karma as well, so that we in the future, we will have direct contact with our own higher divine selves as well. So we're creating like a fertile ground for spiritual growth and advancement every time we practice the 12 blessings. And it's a wonderful, wonderful teaching and a wonderful New Age Bible. And it's a good thing to study it religiously, as Sudhir rightly said as well. And even link it back to the New Testament as well. You can always link it back to the New Testament. I love exploring that and seeing how it links back to the New Testament, because there are a lot of similarities there as well. And so, yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to explore and learn more about. So, okay, so that brings us to the end of the session, unless there's anyone that wants to share any feedback, questions. So Chloe says, are the upcoming morning mantra sessions on the same link as the previous mantra challenge? Yes, that's a good question, Chloe. Yes, they are the same link that you used for the mantra chanting challenge. So, yeah, the mantra chanting challenge is something that's finished last weekend, but we're carrying on with offering 2 weeks worth of free mantra chanting sessions twice a day, Monday to Friday, and they're free for anyone to join if they have a copy of this book, Realize Your Inner Potential by Dr. George King. Okay, so that brings us to the end, and thank you all for your time and your energy. And if you want, I will be leading a yoga breathwork session at 9 a.m. GMT tomorrow morning on Zoom. It's completely free, doesn't cost anything. I will share a link to that in the email that I'll send to you within the next couple of hours. And thank you for this opportunity to connect with you all and to connect with the beloved Master Jesus. And find some time tomorrow on his actual birthday to connect with him in some of the ways that we've done today. Maybe join in with the commemoration service online or in person around the world, and learn more about this great master of love, and continue to build your connection with this great master who has never left us. He's always here, and he's just waiting for us to connect with him and help contribute to his mission to share the light and love. And as that transmission extract that we heard from the Master Jesus, let your love shine forth. That is what the Master Jesus wants for each and every one of us. So with that, I shall love you. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.